Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be looking at this Petrol jet wash. I picked this up a week or so ago. The guy told me that the engine runs. I've not actually tested it, but he says the engine runs but it won't actually produce any high pressure water. Nothing basically comes out. Something's wrong basically with the pump side of it, but the engine should be okay. Yeah, so he said this was fairly new, which seems to be the case. It's got some scuffing. This happens when you're using the actual pressure washer and you're dragging it around on the ground. So it has got some light scuffing to say, you know, so it has been used, but it doesn't look too bad. So that should be okay. The gun seems to be okay. It's got the cap on, so that's good. And this isn't rusted, which usually happens quite quickly. So yeah, there's probably some truth to that. That actually could be fairly new. We've got a couple of the nozzles. We're missing two of them. I'm sure this comes with a large head, which is for soap. And then you've got the four smaller ones. Oh, that could be a soap one actually, because it's quite a big opening. But we've got, oh, there's one actually on the lance. So we have four, so we're just missing the one. So that's not too bad. It's a bit bulky and heavy to be working on the ground with. I wonder, it's probably best if I just remove this and get up on the bench. Yes, that's better. So what do we have? So that is that actually blown free? Why isn't that attached? Oh, I can see one of the heads have came off here. But here, there's actually a hole going through, so I think the muffler needs replacing, which is strange because the engine, it looks in pretty decent condition. So, like, very little use. It's quite strange to see how that's got a hole blown through it already. Yeah, so I might have to replace this. I'll possibly weld this back in place, or maybe get this attached, because that would be very annoying when the engine's running. Okay, let's get this off and have a look. Should tell us a lot about the engine. Yeah, it looks fine. Oh yeah, it looks brand new. So either this has had a service, which, judging from the guy I bought it from, I don't think it has, or it's had very little use. Now, he wasn't a business, he had his home property, and he used it last year a few times, put it away, and this year it doesn't work. So I'm guessing the pump's broke. I'm guessing there was some water left in it and it's basically froze, because he probably kept this in a shed and the water's froze inside and expanded and probably cracked something here. So I think this is going to be our problem area down here, but the air filter looks okay. I'll have a quick look at the fuel and probably check the spark plug and probably try to start this thing up and just see how it runs. Like I say, I trust the guy, he seemed genuine. There's a few times when you buy stuff and they say, oh yeah, it runs fine, it just needs, you know, just needs a carb clean, and you pick it up and you look at it and you think, yeah, this thing's scrap, but I think this should be okay. I'm just going to check this fuel ball, see what's lurking inside. Like I say, it's a good indication to check this just to see what you're dealing with. If the fuel runs clear, then I don't think we're going to have any problems, but let's have a look. Yeah, that seems perfectly fine. Like I say, I've got a pile of engines in this garage that need lots of work, some of them, and a lot of them have got carb issues, so I don't really want to invest too much time rebuilding this carb if I don't have to. Like I say, I think the issue is with the pump. Okay, so I'll get the spark plug out, just have a look, see if that's alright. Yeah, it's pretty sooty, but it's not badly worn, so that should be fine. I'll give that a clean up though before I put it back in. Yes, that's a lot better, so that should be fine. It looks fairly new. There's zero wear on it, so I think it must have been serviced at some point, because the air fault looks brand new, and so does the plug, so that's a good sign. God, it's tight. Oh, yep, it's got oil. It's pretty dirty, but doesn't seem too bad. It'll run, but it won't. Definitely needs oil change. Let's get that back in. So yeah, it's definitely full. A little over full. That seems okay. There's a bit of debris in the bottom. Tiny amount. Nothing that's going to concern me, so we should be okay. Give a bit of throttle. Okay, so the engine's good, which is nice to know, so it's one less thing we need to worry about. But what I am concerned about, hopefully, this can go in like this. Okay, so the engine is, for the most part, ready to go. I will empty this fuel, because I think this is, well, I'm guessing this is from last year, possibly even the year before, so I will empty the fuel. I will drain the carb later on, but for the time being, let's have a look at this pump and see if we can see what's going on with this. Should probably start first by checking the oil, making sure it's actually to level will be the first thing to check. And yeah, we've got plenty of oil. It's not the best looking oil. It's obviously contaminated. That needs to be swapped out. Now, I don't actually have, I'm guessing this will be 30 weight oil needed. I can't see any markings to indicate that, but I do believe I've only got 75-90 on hand. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to order in some 30 weight oil. The drain, I'm guessing, is here. Yeah, that must be the drain. Tell you what, we'll get this removed and drain the oil, and let's see how bad that is. I'm assuming this is the drain plug. It's the lowest point of the pump, so this has to be it, really. I can't see anything else that will be acting like a drain plug. Oh, look at that. It's a nice milkshake colour, isn't it? That is most certainly not black fresh oil. Probably from factory, I would have thought. It's a shame it doesn't take much, but I haven't got any yet. You know, 30 weight oil. You can put regular motor oil in these, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend it. Mind you, we're changing the oil. I'm talking about putting fresh oil in. For all I know, this pump could be completely past it. I'm going to strip it down, basically going to take it off and inspect it and see what's going on inside, but it could be a bag of nails inside there, so might not actually need to get some fresh oil, might actually just have to get a new pump. Chocolate milkshake, anyone? Does look like a Nesquik milkshake. Let's get that cap put back in. Oh. Here we go. I think it's seized. Oh, okay, so it's not seized, or is it? Oh, it's pretty tight. Yeah, it's really tight. Seems a bit too tight. These should come out. One goes there. So all of them. Yeah, so that does seem a little tight. So something might be binding inside. So let's get this removed. And this is where it all goes flying. And there we go. So they look to be okay. They look intact. Dropped a seal. Let's get that back on. Yeah, so I'm happy with them. Pistons, or the valves, or whatever you want to call them, they seem fine. Need a good clean. So before I reassemble all this, I will take all these out and give them a good clean down and grease them back up. There's a bit of dirt inside, so that needs doing for sure, but regarding the top end, I'm quite happy with that. So there's a line, if you can make that out, on the edge. I'm not too sure what would have caused that, because these look to be, yeah, there's actually some scoring on these. Can't feel with my nail though, it's quite light. I wonder if something's been sucked in. Maybe with the, because on the top, this here is a breather, and if something might have got sucked in this little hole, or might have fallen in. It's just got caught up and bound on the metal surface. But that seems okay. There's a little bit of play, but that's about right. Seems quite smooth and can't hear nothing grinding away. So it's been a few days. Yeah, I managed to pick up some oil, some SAE 30, so that should be good enough for the pump. I've just been going through and making sure that all these parts are okay. There's no dirt or debris inside. Nice and smooth, and this seems to be fine also. The seal, the rear seal seems fine, it's not leaking or anything. So that, well, this part of the pump seems to be perfectly fine. So that's one less part to worry about, I guess. I like the design. So basically, as the motor turns, the crank turns, it spins this around, and it's an angle. So this is what pushes up against the pistons. So as that rotates, you'll always have a low spot and a high spot. So it basically just moves around the three pistons and kind of rocking them back and forwards, up and down. And these seem fine also. So one's sticking. One of these was sticking, wasn't it? I think it was the top one. Doesn't matter which way we connect this. Can't see a mark and indicate top, bottom. Seems to be pretty much the same all the way around, so should be okay. Can hear something binding. I think it's on the bearings. These have been off for a few days, so a tiny bit of dust or sand or something's been floating about will get trapped. Seems okay. Definitely something in there. Better. Right, so like I say, I don't believe this goes a particular way. I don't see why it would. I can't see any markings to indicate which way it would go, so let's get this put back on. And it rotates, the pistons move up and down, so they look to be okay. Now what I will do is there's a bit of crud in there, so I think I'll give them a bit of a clean. Not too bad, but it doesn't hurt, does it, while they're out? There's some seals in here, so you don't want to get any carb cleaner down here, because carb cleaner and rubber O-rings do not mix very well. Your water comes in here, and on this side this will be attached. This will be attached in here, And this is for your detergent. So if you got some patio cleaner or some car wash and shampoo or something along them lines, this is where you'd suck it up. So this is your inlet and this is your soap or detergent. And basically it gets drawn in, comes out these jets, these holes, passes through these into the front of the pump. Okay, quite a lot of lime scale came out with that. It's like coming everywhere. Didn't look that bad. Okay, so that, I wonder if that was a problem. I wonder if one of these were actually blocked. Could have been a build-up inside the inlet, so actually this might not be the problem. Yeah, you can see it there, it's built up quite thick as well, so these two seem to be okay, but that one was quite, this one's quite bad, which is this one in the middle. I wonder if that was the problem all along. I'll just put some rubber gloves, just something to protect the brass. I could do some brass clamps, some brass to put over the jaws, just to try and protect it basically, but this will do for the time being. That probably should be the other way around. Get a bit of bite on the ends there. Doesn't need to be too tight, just snug. Just to stop it from moving basically, because I imagine these are going to be tight. Let's see if they come off. Oh, that's quite loose. Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Okay, so that's one out. Oh, that's tight. If I strip these out, it's game over. Just take your time. Keep working back and forwards. Like so. There you go. Wonder if that's Loctite or if someone's actually damaged the threads. See how nice and smooth these ones are. Whereas this one, there we go. So what do we have? It's actually water in that one. Okay, that's tight. It came out and the spring's intact, which is good. spring is intact in that one. If the spring snapped, or this is cracked, then that'll be your problem. Okay, that's not coming out anywhere. So I think we need to take this off, because which one's that one? That one comes out here. That one should come out there. So I think we found our problem. So between there and there, something is not working correctly. And basically using the different sizes to get down all the little tunnels inside this thing, managed to clear it out. So as you'll see, yep, that one's clear. That one's clear. There you go. Basically, you can just make out down there, there's behind here, just out the top, there's like a valve with a spring in each one of these, and that one was stuck closed. So I'm guessing the work in the sequence, so this must be number one. This one was jammed, so the rest went following, resulting in no water coming out. So I think after all that work, I think we've identified that that stuck valve at the back was the issue. Let's put some fresh WD on there. That's where I make a mess. Perfect. And put a bit more down each hole, because I want to make sure them springs inside there are well lubricated. I think what's happened is basically lime scale has got in and just, you know, took up a home and blocked it all up. Now in the past I've not really messed about with these too much, because generally what you find is it's cracked. So there'd be water sitting inside here over winter, and it freezes, expands, and it basically just cracks the pump. So I usually just buy a new pump or get a second-hand one, but in this case the pump looked perfectly fine and it was stored indoors, so it couldn't have been the frost. So I knew something had to be stuck. I thought maybe the top, turns out it was the side. And that's the noise you want. If you remember when I was spraying it before, it was just air coming out, but listen. That is the valve going up and down. So I think we can reassemble this and call it a win. I'm hoping this side is going to be okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm seeing fluid through all three, so why not? If this is free and nothing blocked, we should get WD coming out of there. Very good. Got a feeling when you're putting some back together and you're very confident that it's actually going to work, because up until this point I wasn't sure exactly what was the cause of the issue, why the water wasn't coming out. So I thought I had it, but now I found that issue, it's kind of reassured me that it's been resolved. So hopefully when we get this put back together, we should have a functioning power jet washer, which would be nice. Pressure washer. So just put a bit of, no, it's not essential, these springs look perfectly fine, they're not rusted or anything, but it doesn't hurt. You want to make sure these are seated correctly, which is always a bit of a pain. There we go. Put these back in place. Okay, so there was some sort of locking compound on these. Not too sure what it was. Don't know if it's like a silicone or what, but it's quite hard and crispy, which is usually what red Loctite ends up like. So just to play it safe, I think I'll put some on, because this is a high pressure jet wash, and you definitely do not want this thing leaking. So we'll get this tightened up, all three of them, and I'll get back to you. So earlier I mentioned about a ball bearing and a spring, and for those of you that are interested, this is what I meant. So this basically goes down here, and that is a ball bearing, and the ball bearing lifts up against the spring and allows the water to pass. So just thought I'd check it while I was in, make sure it was nice and clear, which it is. So I'll put this back together. Once again, they've put some sort of Loctite on here, so I'll just put a bit of Loctite on and get this torque down, and we'll be good to go. That is the pump reassembled and ready to go back onto the motor. Just a word of warning, if you're doing this yourself, don't tighten these down fully in one pass. Start patting them. So I worked from that corner to that corner, over, across, then down. And I did that hand tight, and then I did it again nipping them up, and then I did them again really tight with a small Allen key, and then I got myself a longer one, and then did it again all the way around pretty tight, and then one last firm amount of pressure. It was just starting to flex slightly. When I unscrewed these, there was a bit of flex, so my logic is that that should be tight enough, and you can kind of feel it. I didn't use a torque wrench, but you can kind of feel what kind of pressure and what, you know, what kind of force you're putting down. And I just made sure it was even across all five, and then I did the same on the bottom four also. So let's get this back on the motor. There we go. It's pretty filthy, but if we get it running, we'll soon sort that. I normally clean things before I work on them, but we've been a pressure washer. Just seemed a bit weird. Cleaning something that you should be able to clean itself, really. Okay, so it's time to give this pump some fresh blood. So let's get this inside. I have actually tightened up the Allen key at the bottom. I double checked it to make sure, because you don't want this going everywhere. But to be fair, it doesn't take much, and the only way to know when it's full is when it starts going all over your workbench. So just take your time, and eventually it will be full. Oh dear. Yeah, we're definitely full, so this is going to go everywhere. Did I catch it? Nope. Okay, well, we know we're full. There's no min or max, so you don't really know where to stop, and there's no dipstick, so I guess it's just a case filling it till it overflows, I guess. When I drained it, it was full. When I took the cap off, it was right to the top, so, and that's probably from factory. It took 150 ml. I thought it was a litre bottle. It wasn't. It was only a 600 ml bottle, so I thought more came out than actually did. But yeah, 150 ml right to the top. And I found this. This is what came with the pressure washer. This is what attaches your hose pipe. And I was just thinking, what if it was something as simple as that was blocked? See, it's got a screen, so if you had a rock or a pebble in there, that would stop it from working. So that is something to check before you do all of this. The gun, the lance, comes out the top. Your hose pipe feeds the bottom, and like I say, this is for your detergent or car shampoo, anything you really want to just suck up and mix with the water. We have oil. If this works, I will give it an oil change, don't worry. Air filter looks brand new, spark plug's fine, got plenty of fresh fuel, so I think we're ready to go out and try it. I think it's raining outside, but I guess that doesn't matter, so we'll take it out. Remember, when you're starting this, I don't know if it's you're meant to, but I always pull the trigger. I take the fitting off the end of the gun, so it's not going to come out like a jet or anything, it's just going to trickle out. And I usually prime the pump by pulling the lance and let some water flow through for about a minute or so, and that just makes sure that there's no air in the hose or in the pump. Once we're at that position, choke on, fuel on, engine on, start the engine, the choke off, and then try the lance, and you should have pressure. Once you have pressure and it seems to be working fine, choose your attachment and go to town. The motor is fine, and the pump, as you see in the video, is perfectly fine. Didn't leak at all. It leaked around here, so I guess this O-ring is perished, but that just screws off. We can replace that. It's straightforward enough. I give it a quick blast down and did a bit of the path, but as you see in the video, the hose was leaking. So the guy said it was a brand new hose. You can't really see it in the minutes up here. It does look in really good condition. There's just one little nick, which I tried to gorilla tape, and when I gorilla taped it, it was usable, but it was spreading everywhere. So I do need to pick up a new hose, but the engine's nice and toasty, so I think this is a good opportunity to remove that plug and drain the oil. Perfect. For those who care, this is the oil. It ain't that bad, to be fair. It's dark, it's definitely old, it's been in there a long time, probably from new, if I'm honest. I'd be surprised if this has ever been changed. There's no particles on the bottom, it's nice and clear at the bottom when you move the oil around, and as you can see through the side of the container, it ain't too bad. But we've got some fresh oil, and we're going to top back up. Hopefully I've got enough. I do have some 1040, but that's way too thick. 10 is probably not too bad in the winter, I guess, but 530 is what you really want to be putting in. Will it be enough? Oh, look at that, right at the top. You're not going to get much fuller than that. That's right at the very top. Okay, so I ordered a hose online and I've been waiting a few days and it hasn't turned up, and then I've looked online and I've just realised that I've ordered from China, so it's going to be a good few weeks before it actually gets here. So in the meantime, I thought I'll be clever. I used some airline hose and a few of these clamps, and I thought that'll hold it in. So I think we're going to call this video here. As you can see, it does work. Unfortunately, the hose does not work, but other than that, the actual unit itself is fully functional, and this is ready for service. So I think we're going to end the video here. And yeah, if you guys are interested in this kind of content, then please do subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment or a like down below, that would be great. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Cheers, bye.